So here's your part. I made I made some pins for the fourth axis. So you could design those in whatever shape or however you want. They'll need to be cut off afterwards, but those are just for holding it in the fourth. It's centered on the 0 in the X, your part is. So first thing I did was I made stock, and this is a piece of stock that's just the bounds of your part itself. So let me hide my fourth pins. And then you want to set up your stock. So let's run the stock wizard, rectangular. It takes the bounds of that stock I made, so you could make that any size you want, or even add some on the edges from right here. I like to use a solid to do it. So let's do that, and then make sure you set the origin wherever you like it. I'm going to put the origin right there at Z0. And so there's that stock setup. So let's hide that piece of stock, and then we'll unblank my pins because I need those. So there's your stock setup on your part. So now we want to add index systems. So I did a little fooling around. I was trying to do it with just an index on 0 and 180, but that doesn't deal with these sidewalls too. So we're going to rough it on 0 and 180, and then we're going to run a slice planer on all four. So what I want to do is set up 4 UCSs. So we're going to use the top one as 1, and then I'm going to add a UCS, and we're going to do it by rotating it in X. Let's give it 90. Oop, 90. Okay, and then I'm going to name that 90. Then that's the active one, so we're going to rotate it 90 again. I'm going to name that one 180. And then we're going to rotate it again. And we're going to call that one 270. Okay, so first thing we're going to do now then, and now that we have 4 UCSs, the top, the 90, the 180, and the 270, so we want to add indexes. So the first index we're going to add is this one, and the reason I like when I'm doing indexes, I like to use UCSs, not rely on surfaces, especially on this because I don't know which way the surface is. So I'm going to reselect it. I'm going to pick UCS and use the top one there. And then now on that one, I'm going to add a 3-axis. Let's go ahead and select all. Next, this is the top of part. And let's get rid of those two. And we're going to add an advanced rough to it. Just leave a default tool because I don't know your tool that you're running. And let's just do an offset, I would imagine. Let it zigzag for less moves. I'm going to let it choose all the defaults. And what I'm going to do is set a bottom of job, because when I'm indexing, I don't like to go down into the negatives. That I don't think that's a good thing. So let's just go with a minus. Let's go down a 1/4 inch pass. I'm working in inches, so you'll change this to the same thing. It's basically half the ball width there. So I'm not going to change any of the other defaults, and let's compute that toolpath. I wanted it to go just a little past the 0 to make sure it goes through the whole thing. So now while I'm in that first index also, because this top part doesn't get done, I'm going to add one more quick one on there. And then we want to select geometry. Say OK. Delete that one and leave the, I'm going to slice planar that top surface off. Same tool. Bottom of job is 1. So I don't want it, I don't need it going all the way down, trying to go down the edges. I just want it to just do that top surface off. So if you want to see that, let's, it's just doing that now on that top surface, correct? Let's change that one just a little bit more. I want to go, the bottom of job is 0.75. I want it to roll over that. I want it to can get to that one perfectly. So now let's so now we want to add another index, which is the 180. Did I not pick it? Oh, nope, didn't want to do that. There we go. Pick another index. $180. It's doing that bottom side now. I want to check this also. I don't know if I got minus. Okay. Okay. And then now under here, we want to insert the planar for that. That puts that bottom planar on there. Now, so let's go. I'm going to copy that value right there just so I know what I'm talking about. Delete the rough, leave the planar. Bottom of job is going to be, I'm going to insert that value and then minus 1.25. I'm going to copy that value, 1.8. Let's just give it a round number, 1.8. Compute that one. That does that one. Let me blank all the toolpaths and take a look at what I have. That side really drags down that wall, but this one doesn't go down very far. I might want to set that one a little deeper. Didn't change it for that, did it? Let's just leave it for now. These are the kind of questions that I need you to answer. And then from there now, let's insert another index. It should be this backside over here. Okay. So now that should be all the surfaces. This will take a second for that simulation to get going. It's quite a few toolpaths. I won't sing while it waits. Oh, did I put a slice planer on that one? Wait for it to finish popping up here. Wait till all your stuff comes available before you start clicking. Yes. Can rotate it. I'm going to zoom to just the part. And let's see what that did. Of course, you're gonna have to. You might want to change your tooling. That little default flute is might crash a little bit or something. Does the other side, comes back, does this side. You see, so now these are why we have to do those slice planers there. So there's your part. Now that's and then of course you would cut your ends off just with whether you're going to grind them or try to do it on the mill. I don't know how you would. I mean, once you cut all your stock, once you're on the fourth axis, you know, these would just be straight profiles to cut it off on the mill, but I don't know how you're going to block that up in the machine. That's going to leave up to you how you cut your nubs off. So whatever nubs you leave for the end, um, by all means, that's what you get. So there's that part roughed, you know, obviously very rough. So the other way, that's using indexing. The other way I originally did it was I did a fourth axis rotary. Now for us, that's not, that might be kind of impractical because it would be an all-day job, but that's a quarter horsepower tag, so maybe for you, that's not that bad because, so I'm going to select all the geometry because maybe you have some kind of bigger machine that that it's only a 1 hour job, in which case it might even be better with a better result than the indexing. So here I'm going to set the start and the end so that it doesn't go all the way out on my plugs I made for the fourth axis. And this was the first one I showed a result of in the thing. So this is just spinning around it all the way from this end all the way down this way. Going around and around and around and around and around. So, you know, if maybe your machine would do that much faster now, how rough is that going to be you're going to set by your step over in the feature. And that is what's just going to dramatically change the time of how long it takes. So that's definitely roughing it with a 0.1 step over. Now, if that's good enough and you can grind the rest of, you know, all these parts aren't going to get good. So the smaller you make the step, the closer it's going to be to all of those. But those are just, that's two ways to do it, indexing or rotary. That's how you get the toolpath on your part. Okay, we'll talk later.